All right, tubers, Matt M. Roy back once again. Wow, look how bad my hair looks right now. I am so sorry about that. I literally just got off my bike about 10 minutes ago, and I said, what the heck? It's Saturday night, about 5 p.m. I actually don't have anything to do tonight, so let's go ahead and do a live stream. This is going to be health and fitness updates. I'll let you guys know how I'm doing with my weight loss. And maybe we can discuss some things that'll help you, my YouTube viewers or my subscribers, to also maybe shed a few of the pounds that you've been trying to shed. I know quite a few of you that watch my channel are trying to do the same journey that I am. That is the weight loss journey. And not just dieting, but changing your entire lifestyle. And that's why we're calling it a lifestyle change, not just a diet, because to me, a diet is a nasty four-letter word. And like all other four-letter words, it fails. And they always fail, I should say. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen people go on all these fad diets, the keto diet, the Atkins diet, the South Beach diet, just to name a few. The Deal-A-Meal, that's one that I did back in the day, Richard Simmons' Deal-A-Meal. And I'm not saying that they don't work for anybody, but they don't work for everybody in the long term. Basically meaning that yes, you probably will lose some weight in the short term, but down the road you are going to gain it back and then some, because you haven't actually changed your mindset about food. And that's what you actually have to do. And it's not only changing the types of food you eat and the amount of food you eat, but you have to add that element of exercise. And that's the only way it's going to work. I do agree with you, Eric. Diets are very weird anyway. I remember back when I was in high school, one of the big things was it's similar to Atkins, but it was, they called a meat-only diet. But it was even weirder than that. We're talking about a beef-only diet or a chicken-only diet, or another one was the fish-only diet. And let me look up online, see if I can actually remember what the heck that was called. The pescatarian diet. And it was an iteration, the PESC, PESCE, basically means that there were people, and I knew people in my high school that actually did this, that would eat nothing but fish. And even if you are not an expert in diets or fitness or nutritionist, you got to think to yourself, man, that just is not healthy. And the reason it's not healthy is you cannot get all your nutrients from one type of food. You know that old saying, variety is the spice of life? Well, that is absolutely true. A variety in everything in life, in all the different activities you do, the sports you do, like bike riding, walking. You have to have a variety in the types of foods that you eat as well. And it's the only way you're going to stay healthy. And yeah, they had some weird ones too, like the ice cream only diet, which really wasn't a diet. It was just an excuse for teenagers to go out and pretty much eat all the ice cream that they wanted to eat. And yeah, I am doing this live, but I realize most of you are probably going to see this in post-production. Another reason I wanted to do a video was I haven't put one out in 3 to 4 days, and I know people are going to start talking. They're going to be like, Matt, where's Matt gone? Is he dropped off the face of the earth? Did he fall into a black hole or a sinkhole? No, I've just really not wanted to do the YouTube thing right now. Not only have I been very, very busy working around the house, I needed a break. After that week-long live stream event, it just got to be too much. I was mentally and physically tired. So if you guys don't see me for a few days, don't worry about it. Chances are it's just because I'm taking a mental and a physical break. See, we got 2 watchers here. I'm actually surprised we got that many right now. So a few other updates. what I've been doing recently, and this isn't too new, I've been doing this for the last 3 to 4 weeks, so about a month now, is I am increasing the amount I bike ride and decreasing the amount I walk. And there is a method to my madness here. The reason I want to bike ride more is because my body has gotten so used to walking that, again, variety being the spice of life, I want to shake things up a little bit. I want to do something different to basically say to my body, okay, we're going to start working different muscles, and therefore I'm actually going to start boosting my metabolism even more. I actually had to bring my bike into the shop the other day, the bike that I like to ride. I don't know what happened. It was running, it was working fine, and I got home. I actually went on about a 12-mile bike ride. I got home, put it away, went inside, went to bed, got up the next morning, went to take it out, and the rear tire was flat. I'm like, huh, that's not good. So filled it up with air, and immediately you could hear, and it went out. So apparently I got a puncture in the tube. So I make a long story short, I brought it over to our local scat bike shop. Love scat bikes. If anybody from there is hearing this, you guys do a great job. I can't fault them for anything. They just really are excellent. And had them take a look at it and decided to go ahead and leave it with them. They're going to do new tubes and new tires. It's going to be to the tune of about $80 to $90. I'm also having them do a brake adjustment in the back, or not a brake adjustment, I'm sorry, a rear gear adjustment, because sometimes that bike doesn't always go into gear. But it's definitely worth it because this is a pretty expensive bike, and I don't mind putting some money into it because I actually got this at the local thrift store. This one you guys have not seen yet. This one is a Schwinn Ditch 3.0, which actually has disc brakes. It's got the shock in the middle, so this is actually a really nice higher-end bike. Eric says, the thing that usually fails with diets is when you keep denying yourself of stuff. You fail, which is why I had a birch beer earlier today. You know what? That's fine. I actually went to Freddy's Frozen Custard, and I had a Freddy's Concrete with peanut butter blended in it, and that was about 700-800 calories. So we don't call it cheating. We're calling it treating yourself. And if you treat yourself, you're right. Chances are you won't fail. The only catch here is you got to make sure you don't treat yourself too often, because if you treat yourself too often, then you're probably not going to lose weight. I had birch beer once. It was okay. I honestly prefer root beer over birch beer, but I could take or leave it. I'm actually not really into drinking any types of soft drinks anymore. I don't drink sodas for the most part at all. Very, very seldom I will have a root beer, but other than that, I don't drink soda at all. I'm more of a coffee drinker, and that's probably something I need to consider cutting back on, because I drink anywhere between 4 to 6 cups of coffee a day. Today I was around 5 cups. So yeah, that's my vice. We all have them. Believe me, we all have vices, and you have to have a vice. If you don't have a vice, then you're not going to be a really nice person to be around generally. How did your Suburban work out on the long trip, Matt? It's actually a Tahoe. It's the shorter one. Really well, and no real problems to speak of. The only thing I need to do on that before the next inspection is I need to replace the ABS wheel speed sensors. They are starting to go out on it, but it's just an intermittent problem. Every once in a while, the ABS light will come on, but then it goes out and it won't come on for like 2 to 3 weeks. So other than that, it's been a great vehicle. Okay. I want to tell you guys something that I have done recently. I've switched up my breakfast menu a little bit. Most of you guys probably know by now that I was a big oatmeal eater. Pretty much I eat I eat oatmeal 6 days a week for breakfast, and all different kinds, steel cut, rolled oats, whatever I could eat, whatever I could find. And yeah, I usually did the microwavable or the quick oats just because it's easier. And I did the research. There really isn't that much nutritional difference between the quick oats and the oats, the regular oats that you have to cook on the stove. But I've switched it up a little bit. And right now, I am really into this. This is the Western Family Creamy Wheat Enriched Farina cereal. See if you guys can get a look at that real quick. Kind of looks like mashed potatoes, doesn't it? Yeah, it took me a little while to get used to it. But this is very similar nutritional value to oatmeal. I'll read the ingredients. It's wheat farina, wheat germ, disodium phosphate, and that's just added for quick cooking, hence the quick farina. And yes, before anybody asks, they actually do make a regular farina that you have to cook on the stove, and I think that takes like 15 or 20 minutes. But if you read the ingredients in here, it's actually really good. 3 tablespoons, basically 1 cup of cooked farina is 120 calories. Now, I do double that. I do 2 servings. So I figure it's 240 calories. And then I usually add butter, and I do add a little salt and pepper, and I add either honey, or lately I've been adding real maple syrup. So when I tally it up, I usually have the 2 cups of coffee and a whole banana for breakfast. I figure my breakfast calorie count is about 450 to 500 calories. Now, bearing in mind, that is a good breakfast for somebody my size, 6'2", 206, 207 pounds. It's going to depend on your height and weight as to what you should be consuming for breakfast. And this is really good for anybody. Now, I will say this: if you have celiac disease, or another term for that is if you can't handle gluten, then this is not for you, because this absolutely does have gluten in it. It's got wheat. But for those of you that can handle wheat, this is a great option. And it actually tastes really good. And the beauty of this stuff is it actually fills you up. Like, I can have the 2 servings. It actually will take me about 10 minutes to eat it. And when I'm done, I am full for pretty much the next 5 to 6 hours. And that's nice because you have that energy. It gives you the energy. It makes you feel full, but it doesn't put the weight on. And even says here, good things to mix in it: chocolate syrup. Ooh, I never tried that. Actually, does sound pretty good. Chocolate syrup, raspberry or strawberry jam, creamy peanut butter, and maple syrup. I don't know about peanut butter, but raspberry or strawberry jam would be a great option. And of course, maple syrup is a given. I eat it that way now all the time. George Stewart said, looks great. Love cream of wheat. Yeah, I never could get a taste for it. That's like the one hot cereal that I just really don't like. But if you like it and that works for you, that's great. Definitely. I mean, again, it's all pretty much the same nutritionally. We're talking about farina, cream of wheat, grits, oatmeal. It's all good for you as long as you don't put in too many extras. Now, I probably put in more maple syrup than I should, but I've gotten to the point where I can handle the sugars and the carbs. My body can absorb that and use it. But if you're just getting started, be really careful how much stuff you put in it, because it's not what it is, it's how much you add into it that'll add up the calories pretty quickly, or the calories will add up pretty quickly. Mike Perridan is here. Nice. We're talking about health and fitness. And while there's a lull in the conversation, let me see what I got going on here. I got a few people asking. Oh, wait a minute. Eric sent a photo to me. Hang on. I don't know if I can read this out loud. Let me see. Nice. Nice. I'm not going to read this out loud because I don't know if Eric would want me to share this, but he actually got some good news in the way of YouTube. So, Eric, cheers, buddy. That photo was like an hour ago. I don't know what's going on with my messenger. I swear that I am not getting the messages that I need to be getting. And of course, being that I'm a reseller and I rely a lot on Facebook Marketplace to sell a lot of my goods, it would be nice to get my messages in a timely manner. But I don't know. I don't think it's happening. We'll see. Maybe they're doing some maintenance. They do the best they can at Facebook. Let's face it, their servers are taxied a lot more than most websites. Eric Brunhammer goes, the problem is the only oatmeals that I can stomach are the ones that are unhealthy ones. Well, think about this. I get what you're saying. You're probably talking about the instant oatmeal that has all the sugars in it, like the Quaker Oats, peaches and cream, or strawberries and cream. But you could take something like this and add your favorite things to it, like it said, maple syrup, strawberry or raspberry jam. Have fun with it. I mean, you could really add anything to this. It doesn't even have to be sweet. Believe it or not, I know people that have this and grits with shrimp, chicken. It doesn't even have to be something sweet. So, I mean, you can really have fun with hot cereals like this. I know it sounds different, but who knows what tastes good. But don't make a huge batch. Like if you're going to experiment with it, start small. Definitely start small. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I know what Eric's talking about. Yeah, I'll get up with you after the live stream about that. I need to test that item first because it's actually been a while since I used it. George Stewart, if you put steel cut rolled oats in your crock pot before you go to bed on low, it's unbelievable the next day. Interesting. I never heard of that. I guess it would get really, really soft on low. Yeah. A crock pot is an amazing invention. And I tell you, there is so much that you can do with a crock pot. And I love it when I make the 15 bean soup that I eat for lunch all the time. I do it in a crock pot because I can slow cook it and I can make sure that everything cooks exactly the way I want it to. I start off with the stock and put the beans in with the what do I put in there? Tomato sauce, tomato paste, and then I let that simmer for a couple hours. Then I go ahead and put the vegetables in, let that cook for another usually 6 to 7 hours, and then towards the end, I put in the frozen okra and I let that cook for maybe a half an hour, and then I turn it off. The whole process takes like 12 or 13 hours, but it makes for some really good 15 bean soup. We got 5 watchers and 3 likes. I wonder if Mark's going to come. I know he doesn't usually get off until like 7 or 8. Eric goes, dude, I love my crock pot. I made venison lasagna in there before. That was amazing. Actually sounds really good. I used to get a lot of venison when we lived in New York. A very good friend of ours used to hunt a lot, and he would inevitably, kill maybe 3 or 4 deer every year, and he would do it. He would skin it himself, and then he would take the meat and he would have it sent to his butcher. The butcher would make deer sausage, deer pepperoni. He would make like cuts of steak, and then he would also make him some ground beef. Like he would actually grind the venison for him, because venison is very similar to like beef, like you get from a cow, but it's really, really lean, so it's actually much healthier for you. And then I'll never forget my grandfather, my dad's dad, was from Canada, and he would come down, and every time he came down to visit, he'd be like, can we have some of those venison steaks? And he absolutely loved them. And I have to admit myself, they were pretty good, though. Me personally, back then, I could have went for a good old Philly cheesesteak. Those were always my favorites. Is this a little bit better? I noticed that this light kind of washes my face out. Do you guys like it like this, or do you want me to put the fluorescent light back on? The venison tacos I made were great too. Hmm. So basically, probably ground meat. Yeah, again, really lean, and that's what I like nowadays is lean meats. When I make a lot of chicken salad, and that gets me on to my next topic, what I have for lunch. So you guys know what I do for breakfast most of the time. That lunch usually consists of chicken salad, sandwich, and the 15 bean soup. And when I have the chicken salad sandwich, I make the chicken salad myself. I actually get fresh chicken breasts. I cook them up on the stove, cut it up, and I put it in the food processor. And then I mix in 3 colors of bell peppers, usually yellow, red, and orange. And then I cut up a red onion and a yellow onion, and I do that in the food processor as well. And then I put in a bunch of different spices, usually celery salt, spike seasoning, and garlic powder, and a little bit of onion powder. And I mix it all together. So I have that for lunch with the 15 bean soup, and I have it on the Oats So Good bread that I get from Aldi. And that is bread that is some of the best bread you can get. It's fully organic, and it's got sprouted grains, sprouted oats, which is the healthiest way to eat oats. Basically, you can have like whole grains, whole oats, and then you have sprouted oats, which is actually the healthiest way to get your oats. So that's what I do for lunch. And yes, I usually have another cup or two of coffee with lunch too. And even with my coffee, I'm getting healthier. I still use half and half, but I do use the turbinado cane sugar instead of the white granulated sugar. I don't know if our live chat's working. We'll give it another couple of minutes. And then for dinner, it's a toss up. Sometimes I'll eat whatever we're having, whatever mom's cooking for dinner, or I'll just have myself some farina again. And this is not something that I'm planning on doing for the rest of my life. Like, I'm not going to be this much of a fanatic for the rest of my life. But I want to get down to 200 pounds. Once I get down to that goal, that mark, I should say, which is my long term goal, now not so far away, then I can concentrate on maintenance. And maintenance is a lot easier because once you've had this discipline for any length of time, in my case, almost, well, say 2 years now, it becomes a way of life. And maintenance is just that much easier. All you really have to do is say to yourself, okay, now that I've gotten down to that weight, I need to make sure that I don't gain the weight back. So yeah, you can add some junkier food. You can add some more of the stuff that you've been denying yourself, but you have to be careful. If in a month or two you see the scale creeping back up again, even 4, 5, 6 pounds, then you may have to go back on your really strict lifestyle change to get yourself back down. For the rest of your life and mine, it's going to be a balancing act between what I want to eat and what I should eat. And you need to make them so close. Inevitably, one's probably going to be higher than the other. So there's probably going to be times that I'm over 200, and there'll be times that I'm under 200. But the idea, at least for me, is to stay around that 200-pound mark. Now, for you, it's going to be different. I've talked a lot about the BMI calculator, which is a good representation of what you should weigh. You can look at them online. I know I've shared the one that I use, but I'll go ahead and do that again. And it's actually called the more realistic BMI calculator. Let me share that link. And what you can do, If you click that link, it'll bring you to the page. Basically, it's very easy. All you have to do is put in your weight in pounds and then your height in feet and inches. And it even has centimeters for those of you outside the US. And it'll let you know what your BMI or body mass index is. And it'll also let you know well, it'll give you an idea of what you should be. In other words, if give you an example, say you're 5'11" and you weigh 175 pounds. So we'll put that in there, 175 pounds, and you're 5 feet 11 inches tall. That is a typical weight for somebody who is 5'11". In that case, your BMI is 23.6, so you are in the healthy range. Now, let's say that same 5'11" person is 190 pounds. Well, then you are in the overweight category, and you need to go ahead and try to, lose a little bit of weight. And you can play around with this a little bit. It's really fun. So what I'm basically telling you here is listen to your body for sure, but do the research. Now, I've given you guys a lot of ideas here in the past. Hopefully, I'm sharing some information with some new people here, but just make sure that you live as healthy as possible without denying yourself that treat once in a while. Eric Brunhammer goes, oh yeah, my leg is doing fine though. What happened was while setting up the video, I ran into a piece of metal that was protruding from the trailer I was working on. Yeah, I'm happy to say that I've never impaled myself in the leg, but I have in other parts of my body. I'm not, it's been a long time since I've done like a taken a first aid class. I did when I was in Scouts. I know you got to clean the wound, use something like bacitracin, and if it's really deep, what you can actually buy, there is something called a liquid bandage. I know Rite Aid sells it. I think Walgreens, all your major pharmacies sell it. Basically, what it is, it's almost like a glue, but it has disinfectant properties. It comes in like a little paintbrush, and you literally will paint it on where the cut is. And you can even do it if the cut's still bleeding. It's perfectly safe. Now, it's going to sting a little bit, but you paint it on there and you hold it up wherever you are. If it's your leg, you're probably going to have to hold your leg up like that. And you let it sit. I think it takes about 2 minutes to dry, and then it seals the wound, and you just leave it on there. I mean, you don't do anything with it. It actually takes about 7 days for it to wear off, and then by then it's usually healed. I love it. Matter of fact, when I was up in New York and I cut myself really deep on my thumb while I was making chicken salad, I wound up having to get some of that because I actually cut it down almost to the bone. It was that deep. And I don't want to gross anybody out here, but I had that kind of flap there. And what I did is I pushed the flap down for a day or two with a regular Band-Aid. And at that point, the flap kind of sealed itself. And then I put some of the liquid bandage on there, and it was fine for a while. Eric goes, I use the butterfly stitches and the regular bandage. I'll have to look that up. I'm not sure what that is. Butterfly stitches. Oh, okay. Yeah, I now I know what you're talking about. It's those things that look almost like an hourglass. They're really skinny in the middle, and then they have like the globe on the bottom and the top. Took me a minute to figure that one out. Let me make sure that link's working. Okay. So I've been talking up a storm here. We got 5 people right now. Any questions, fitness or health related? Pradkins, we're only doing health and fitness here. Sorry, buddy. Eric goes, those things have saved me from getting stitches several times. I'm sure. And I'm by no means saying you're accident prone. I just think that you do a lot more physical type work than I do, more dangerous work. And yeah, I could see that. I mean, I've never gotten stitches in my entire life. And I'm actually going to brag about that because I'm kind of a klutz. Anybody who knows me personally knows I am a klutzy person. Part of it is my overeagerness to get the job done. Another part is my spatial and my Asperger's, but I've never gotten stitches and I've never broken a bone with the possible exception of my little toes. When I was young, I would always slam them into the doorway at night. So I'd wake up and have to go to the bathroom and I'd be half asleep. But I never had that checked, so it may have just been bruised. But with the exception of my little toes, maybe even both of them, I've never broken a major bone. Erico, some say if you're not bleeding, you're not doing it right. Maybe. Oh man, I don't know if I should read this out loud, but okay. Rebecca is kind of clumsy. She has never had stitches either. My record was 37 stitches. Was that for one cut? I'm assuming that was probably for one cut. Yikes. Pradkins asks, "Do you like pizza?" I do like pizza, but I don't really eat it that often, mainly because it's so high in fat and sugar and just calories in general. When I do eat pizza, there is one pizza that I absolutely love, and that is at Wegmans, in at least ours in Virginia Beach. I go into their cafeteria area and I get their white pie with garlic. It's one of the best I've ever had, and it's actually decently healthy for you. It's got, I think they said it was, I thought it was ricotta. They said it was like Fontina cheese as the base instead of sauce. On top of that, they have the mozzarella and the Romano cheese melted. And then for a topping, they have whole cloves of garlic on top. And it is one of the best pizzas I've ever had. I could eat about 3 to 4 slices of that, and it's amazing. But other than that, not really. I'm not really a big pizza fan, and I'm sure I'm offending somebody out there. They're like, "Matt, how can you say you don't like pizza? Everybody likes pizza." Yeah. Pragton says, "We're going to order Papa John's pizza tonight. Make sure you get their garlic dipping sauce." That was the only reason I used to order Papa John's back in the day, and that was pretty much my high school days. I used to love their garlic dipping sauce, even more than Little Caesars. Eric goes, "I must be low in one of the critical vitamins. My calf muscle keeps trying to cramp up." Oh, I just heard this the other day. What was somebody telling me about that? Iron. If you're low in iron, you can get muscle cramps, and if you're dehydrated. So take some iron supplements and go ahead and drink some water. Give that a try. That might help. Pradkins goes, "I love jalapeno poppers." I love some jalapenos too myself. Not necessarily the poppers because I don't really eat fried food much anymore, but I'll tell you, jalapenos are really good cut up on chicken salad. You could even put them in things like the soup, like that 15 bean soup that I eat and that I consume. And my dad, he makes tuna salad, and he puts a lot of jalapenos in that. Really good. Pat Scanlon says, "Hey Matt, looking good. Thank you very much." See, you guys boost my mood, and hopefully I can boost your mood as well. Eric goes, "I've been drinking tons of water today too, so it's probably the iron." I let me look that up real quick. Okay. It also says magnesium and or potassium deficiency. So you know what you can do, Eric? Get yourself a couple of bananas and eat them. That might stop the cramps. We got 6 watchers and 3 likes. Awesome. I know inevitably a lot of people are going to be watching this in post-production. Pradkins goes, you lost a lot of weight. Yeah, I guess I haven't really given you guys a whole running total of what I've lost altogether. Right before I started my YouTube channel, so we're talking 2010, 2011, I weighed every bit of 400 pounds. I was probably more like 405, something like that, 406. And now I weigh that 206, 207 range. So I have literally lost 50% of my body weight. And it's very hard to do that. But if you look at me and somebody who is very weak-willed, usually, don't have a lot of willpower, never thought he would ever be able to shed anything near that amount of weight. Basically, what I'm saying is if I can do it, you can do it. Pat Scanlon asks, what height are you, Matt? I am 6 feet 2 inches tall, or I don't know how many centimeters that is. Let's see. Oh, like, so if I'm 6 feet 2 inches tall, I guess I'd be like 188 centimeters, something like that. That's 11 years ago. No, I'm talking about 2011. So 5, 6, 7, 8, about 9 years ago is when I weighed the four. Oh, let's be honest. I was probably 408, something like that. I will tell you, and this was only for about a week or so when I was really depressed back then. I got on the scale and I was at 416 pounds. But I quickly lost that weight and got down to about 400, like I said, 406. So I don't really count that as my highest weight because I was only there for a very short time. But hey, maybe I should. If I count that as my highest weight, then I've lost more than 50% of my body weight, actually. Pat Scanlon says, gulp. Yeah, it's a long, hard road, but it was well worth it. I'm doing a little multitasking here. I'm surfing the web looking for some more fun facts to share with you all out there in YouTube land. Okay. Okay, so this is the top 10 fitness facts as told by WebMD. Number 1, exercise boosts brain power. Not only does exercise improve your body, it helps your mental function, says certified trainer David Atkinson. Sounds all like the Atkins diet. Exercise increases energy levels and increases serotonin in the brain, which leads to improved mental clarity. Serotonin is that chemical in the brain that gives you pleasure and peace. All that makes for a more productive day. And I could understand that if I was calmer and happy, I think I'd be more productive as well. It is clear that those who are active and who exercise are much more productive at work, says Todd A. Astorino, assistant professor of kinesiology of California State University, San Marcos. Improved productivity not only makes you a better worker, it makes things better for everyone in the workplace. Companies with less wasted work hours and less sick time end up with lower healthcare costs and improved bottom lines. That is a big, big plus. And I'll be the first one to tell you that the majority of the time that I had a regular 9 to 5 job, I was significantly overweight in the morbid obese category, and I had a lot of days off because of it. So that's absolutely right on. I mean, not only if you're healthy at work, not only are you going to be happier, but you are going to actually be able to go to work on a regular basis, have very few sick days, and cost the company less money. Therefore, the company can afford to give you more raises. You make more money, and you're a happier person. See the nice little circle that happens right there? All just by being physically fit. Number two, movement melts away stress. As much as it may stress you out just to think about exercising, once you actually start working out, you'll experience less stress in every part of your life. That is absolutely true. And it was very hard for me to start exercising in the beginning. Now, my body craves it. If I go a day without getting my workouts in, I actually feel depressed and I can actually get very angry and irritable. So that's what happens. You're training your body to think differently than it has pretty much your whole life. Exercise produces a relaxation response that serves as a potential distraction. Where was I? You're not the only person who will benefit from more happiness and less stress in your life. When you're less stressed, you're less irritable. There you go, right there. So that is number two. Movement melts away stress. And they're talking about exercising for the most part, not just getting up, going to the refrigerator to get another beer. Sorry, all you alcohol lovers, that doesn't count. That's cool, Eric. Thanks for stopping by. I'll try to check out your video a little bit later. Number three, exercise gives you energy. You might be surprised at how say popping in a workout tape for 30 minutes in the morning can change your whole day. When endorphins are released into your bloodstream during exercise, you feel much more energized the rest of the day. Again, absolutely true. If I get my morning exercise in, then I'm much more productive throughout the day. I just don't feel like sitting around the house and lounging around doing nothing, looking at the inside of my eyelids. And there it goes, the next paragraph. And when you improve your strength and stamina, it's easier to accomplish everyday tasks like carrying groceries, climbing stairs. This also helps you feel more energetic over the course of the day. Common excuse among Atkinson's clients is that they're too tired to exercise, he says. While exercise in and of itself may make you feel more tired at first, he says that won't last long. The physical tiredness you feel after your workout isn't the same as everyday fatigue. Besides, once your body adjusts the exercise, you'll have more energy than ever. So basically what he's saying is what I've been saying all along. It is hard at first, but once you get into that routine and your body gets used to it, it's going to be no big deal. And even now, there are days that I wake up that I really don't want to exercise. Maybe I had a bad night's sleep or I'm just having problems with allergies. But then I say to myself, you know what? If I just get up and do it and I push through it, then I know I'm going to feel better. And you know what? For the most part, it picks up my mood for the rest of the day. Number four, it's not that hard to find time for fitness, says the doctor. The key says Atkinson, it is to use your time more wisely. Think about killing two birds with one stone. Take your kids to the park or ride bikes together, and you're getting physical activity while enjoying family time, he says. Beyond that, go for a hike, take the kids swimming, or play hide and seek, tag, softball, horseshoes, or in the backyard. Schedule a meeting on a jogging track or a golf course. Those are great ideas, but I'm going to add one into that. Get yourself a dog. Believe it or not, I know a lot of people in my area that lost a significant amount of weight just by getting a dog, because what do you have to do with a dog 3, 4, 5 times a day? You have to walk it, and that's going to force you to get out there and get some exercise. But that's not the only thing you can do. And I'm surprised, one thing that he didn't mention is, a lot of us live very close to work nowadays. So instead of taking your car to work, why don't you walk to work? Or better yet, ride your bike to work. And again, you ride your bike to work, you may be a little tired at first, but then that serotonin kicks in. All of a sudden, man, you got energy for the rest of the day. Number 5, fitness can help build relationships. Think of what exercise with a partner could do for a relationship, whether it's the spouse, sibling, friend, or a friend used to go to lunch with. Not only that, but exercise is always more fun when there's someone to do it with. So plan to walk with a spouse after dinner every night. Meet your sister or a friend for tennis or an aerobics class instead of lunch. It's a great idea. If, of course, you can persuade the significant other or this other person to walk with you. May take a little bit of persuasion, but I'll bet you guys out there have that persuasive muscle going in your brain. Prakins wants to know, what is a workout I have not heard of before? Well, I don't know. There are a lot of different ones out there. There's strength training where you work with free weights. I do that pretty much 2 or 3 times a day. Bike riding, walking, jogging, swimming is a great option. I mean, there's other things like if you join a gym, which is not my thing, but it might be your thing. You can go to step classes. You can go to Zumba classes. There's a lot of different types of workouts out there. You just really need to find what you enjoy and just do it. Number 6, this is the big one, and this was the big one for me, and it's really hard for me to share this, or at least it used to be, but now it's gotten a little bit easier. Exercise helps ward off disease. Research has shown that exercise can slow or prevent things like heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, osteoporosis, which is bone loss, and loss of muscle. It also helps ease some aspects of the aging process. Because exercise strengthens the muscles and joints, is going to reduce your odds of having some of those aches and pains and problems most adults have, mostly because of the inactive lives they lead. Now, this hit close to home because when I was morbidly obese, I was diabetic, I had high blood pressure, and my mobility was limited. I could barely walk up a flight of stairs without getting winded. There are times I almost had to go up on my knees because of all the extra weight I was carrying around. And if you lose this weight, like the amount of weight that I have, you'll notice a fantastic difference in your ability to move. And in my case, the diabetes cleared up and the high blood pressure cleared up for the most part. Now, I do have still slightly high blood pressure, so I do have to take one pill for that. But I'm not crying over that because I am still significantly healthier than I was. Eric goes, I found something healthy that keeps me relaxed. Welding was really relaxing, LOL. As long as you don't hurt yourself doing it, then yeah, I'd have to agree. I could see that being really relaxing. It's a hobby. Hobbies are all great as long as you enjoy them. Because it's illegal to cross the Delaware Memorial Bridge without a motorized vehicle. Oh, okay. I guess somebody was asking about crossing that with a bike or something. I'm not surprised because it's part of a highway. Generally, if you have a highway, then you're only allowed on it with a motorized vehicle. And the other ones are pretty much the same. I'm not going to bore you with a lot more reading, but number 7, fitness fact. Fitness pumps up your heart, basically makes your heart stronger. And let's go to the last few here. 8, exercise lets you eat more. Blah, 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 basically means that after you've exercised a lot, you burn muscle and you gain, I'm sorry, you burn fat and you gain muscle. Hopefully you don't burn muscle, but once you've built up that muscle, muscle feeds off of food. And it actually makes you want to eat more, and you can eat more because the more muscle you have, the more you have to eat to keep up that muscle. So if you have a cheat day, chances are you're not going to be gaining weight back. And if you do, it'll actually be the good weight, i.e., muscle, and not fat weight, which is not the weight any of us want. Number 9, exercise boosts performance. Well, we already kind of covered that. And number 10, weight loss is not the most important goal. Interesting. Weight loss is the reason most people exercise in the first place, but certainly not the sole benefit of an exercise program. Brian says the long-term goal of weight loss is sold to heavy people to start fitness programs, and that can be discouraging. People have trouble sticking with something if they don't see results quickly. And yeah, that definitely can happen. Really, they should think about the level of functioning in the activities of daily life. That can serve as a motivation to keep them coming back for more. So basically what he's saying is if you are starting your lifestyle change, don't be discouraged if you're not losing a lot of weight off the bat. Look at how your life is changing. Let's say maybe you've only lost 20 or 30 pounds, but yet your mobility is better. You don't have the normal aches and pains that you had in the past. You're maybe able to go up and down stairs better. Maybe you can bike ride now where you couldn't before. If you are more physically fit, don't fixate so much on the weight itself, because that will take care of itself in the future as long as you're keeping to the routine. That's pretty much it. I mean, that's everything that I can tell you guys to do to try and, lose some weight. I'm going to go ahead and end it here today. I thank everybody for coming. Hopefully we'll do more of these in the future. I do want to do some more cooking videos. Hopefully when I get down to 200 pounds, and I'm going to be willing to eat some more exotic menu choices. Please continue to like and subscribe. Thank you again for everybody coming. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.